Okay, talking a little bit about my backline for gigs. Generally for local shows, I use a Fender Vibrolux amp. It's a reissue, and it's quite simple. Up until recently, I was actually not using really any pedals, just I have one analog delay that I use that I like to use manually, and then I was using a exotic BB preamp for a little boost. Generally, I like I like kind of natural sounds, not a lot of high gain. But recently I started using the Carl Martin Quattro, which is a one unit multi-effects, analog effects unit. They're made in Denmark, I believe. But that has like a little compressor, which I just kind of used as a boost for solos, a couple overdrive channels, chorus, and delay with a tap tempo. So that's some pretty standard stuff that you should have for any kind of pop or rock situation. I like it because it's just one unit that just plug in and plug into your amp. And it's really high quality. Now for bigger things, I've been doing some pop gigs in China, and I'm using the Line 6 Helix, which is awesome for multi-effects. And I usually run it into like a AC30 or something like that. Just a not super colorized, clean sound. Even a Fender Deluxe or something would be great. But the Line 6 Helix is awesome because it has every effect under the sun and every kind of gain, overdrive, heavy metal gain or whatever, and everything built into one board. You can also just take a direct output of XLR out and go straight into the PA with no amp at all, because it has guitar amp models and cabinet simulators and all that. But that's really great for pop music. Sometimes when you're playing pop, you don't want to be so concerned about a big board with one of the cables going out and something, some problem with your analog pedals, because you have to realize you're maybe 1/10 of the sound. And so if you're using analog pedals going through Mogami cable through this boutique amp, really like the audience is only hearing you a small percentage. So it's almost like, what do you want to do? You want to have a consistent sound night after night in these arenas, and use a Kemper or something that's like preset. Maybe even it's triggered if you're locked up to Pro Tools. It can do all the guitar effects changes for you, and you can just sort of enjoy making the music and entertaining. And then, but I do, like for a gig, for instance, like a Chris Cornell gig, that is 2 guitars, bass, and drums. It's a big part of the sound, like the sound I was generating. So I had some nice proper amps. I have a Fender Tone Master 412 cabinet and head, divided by 13 plexi style head. That's a 412 cabinet, and I also had an AC30 running. So I had 3 amps, not always running, but some for different songs, and all 3 maybe for a solo or something. And I had a proper analog board. But that's if you're playing in a band where the guitars are really featured, then yeah, I recommend going all out with your favorite analog pedals and tube amps and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it sort of doesn't make a lot of sense if you're doing a big arena pop show where you're not really the feature and you just need to be super clean, reliable, play the parts perfect, and you don't want to like have any screw ups with like, oh, I didn't turn on the chorus pedal or the delay pedal. So I kind of recommend that kind of thing. And yeah, and I have a Mulan Telecaster that I'm using on those pop gigs, because it has 2 humbuckers, a single coil in the middle, a tremolo bar, and a piezo bridge pickup where I can get acoustic guitar sounds out of the electric as well. So yeah, so you want to stay versatile with your sounds and have different setups. For my local gigs, yeah, it's a Fender Vibrolux with the Carl Martin Quattro, and and my 355 Gibson. So that's my stuff.